About 140 miles from here, in the foothills of the Brushy Mountains in North Carolina, there is a town. The town was conceived by Andy Barker, who wanted to create his own special place. And in 1954, after purchasing land, Andy Barker moved his family to Love Valley. Today, we celebrate Palm Sunday. It's also the beginning of the week we call the Holy Week that we call Easter. We open this week by recalling the triumphant entrance that Jesus made, entering Jerusalem as the prophet, the Messiah. And during this week, we will live the experience of the Triduum. On Thursday, the Triduum will take us to the Last Supper with Jesus and his apostles. From there, we will go to the Mount of Olives, where we will wait, watch, and pray with Jesus. Andy Barker wanted to live in a town in the Old West, and he used his company's construction crew to begin building his Main Street Western town. The town was incorporated in North Carolina in 1963. The town's built around an arena which served as a showplace for horses and other events. On Friday of this week, we will experience the Good Friday of our salvation and the agony Jesus endured to pay for our sins and reconnect us to God. In July of 1970, Love Valley was the site of a rock festival similar to Woodstock. Over 200,000 people attended the event. They walked the 2 blocks of the western town of Love Valley. They lived in tents and vans. They sat on the hill that formed the arena. They watched and listened to the bands that came to play. Similar to the Triduum, the festival ran from Thursday, July the 16th, through Saturday, July the 18th. The main promotional poster featured a Jesus-like, long-haired hippie character whose arms were outstretched as if hanging on a cross. On Saturday of this Easter week, we'll celebrate the night when Christ rose from the dead. Through the Easter candle, we'll celebrate the light of God in the world through Jesus, who is the light of the world. Through the readings, we will recall the wonderful things that God has done for his people throughout time. We'll celebrate through the sacraments of baptism and confirmation the entry of new members, reborn as the day of salvation arrives. We'll be called to the table of the Lord, the table of salvation prepared by Jesus through his death and resurrection. In 2011, Andy Barker died at the age of 87. The arena is now a collection of horse paddocks and riding rings. The hillside that seated 200,000 is empty. There was no second concert event. The western town that Andy created is now mostly a ghost town, lived in by 20 or so people. The curious sometimes stop by, and some of the local residents open up one or two of the shops on any given weekend. But Love Valley is simply a dream in the life and the imagination of one man. We in this community gather today and this week to celebrate the enduring action of our God. We, as we do each year, experience Jesus' entrance into Jerusalem and his passion. We are part of the crowd that continues and returns and stretches back 2,000 years. We share his Last Supper, pray and keep watch, grieve at his suffering and death, and rejoice at his resurrection. Unlike the passing things of Love Valley, we continue to remember and participate in the ongoing story and realization of salvation and God's love for us. This week, we are all invited to this wonderful experience of God.